Mike McDermott sits down at a table with $30,000 and loses it in a single hand. Everything he spent years building, gone before he stood up from the chair. That's the opening scene of Rounders. And if you've never seen it, that sentence tells you everything you need to know about the movie and about your finances. This is the 1998 film, Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and a New York underground poker scene that looks nothing like what you see on television. It never got the credit it deserved, but if you watch it as a finance video instead of a poker movie, it's the most honest thing ever made about why smart people stay broke. Mike isn't a bad player. He's one of the best in every room he walks into. He reads people, he understands odds, he knows the game at a level most players never reach, and he goes broke anyway. Not once, twice. Because talent without a foundation isn't a financial plan. It's just a longer way to lose. The cards are almost beside the point. Mike doesn't lose because he gets bad hands. He loses because he plays from the wrong position. No cushion, wrong people around him, making decisions from desperation instead of strength. That's not a poker problem. That's a personal finance problem. And it plays out exactly the same way in your bank account as it does at the table. That's not bad luck. That's the absence of a rule. Every serious player knows you never put your entire bankroll in play at once. You protect the stack. You play with what you can afford to lose in a single session, and you leave the rest somewhere the table can't reach it. Mike knew this. He ignored it. And the moment he ignored it, he stopped playing poker and started gambling. This video is about the 4 financial mistakes Mike makes in Rounders and why you're probably making at least 2 of them right now. The last one is the one nobody talks about, and it's the one that costs the most.
Your version of this isn't a poker table. It's a checking account that sits close to zero the day before payday. A financial life with no cushion between you and the next bad thing that happens. And bad things happen on a schedule, whether you're ready for them or not. The car breaks down, the hours at work get cut, the medical bill arrives, and because there's nothing underneath you, one bad month becomes a crisis, and one crisis becomes a decision made from panic instead of strength. Decisions made from panic are always expensive. Most people are making every financial decision from the same position Mike was in when he lost. Nothing underneath them, no room to breathe, and no margin for error. They are always one hand away from broke, and every financial decision they make from that position costs more than it should. Picture a man outside an auto repair shop staring at an $800 quote on his phone. He has a credit card with $400 left and $200 in checking. He's going to put it on the card. He knows the interest rate. He knows he won't pay it off this month. He does it anyway because there is no other move. That's not a bad decision. That's what happens when there's nothing underneath you. The decision was made the day he spent the last cushion on something he can't remember. In every poker game, the house takes a percentage of every pot before the winner gets paid. It's called the rake. It happens automatically before the money reaches the player. Over thousands of hands, it's the biggest drain on a bankroll. The house gets paid first every single time. Mike never took his own cut. Every dollar went back into play. The move is to become the house, an automatic transfer the moment your paycheck arrives, before the bills, before the spending, before the table gets its hands on it. You pay yourself first, the same way the house pays itself first. That's the rake. That's the bankroll. That's what Mike never had. The rake solves the bankroll problem, but there's a second problem Mike has that the rake can't fix, and it has a name.
Lester Murphy, who everyone in the film Rounders calls Worm, gets out of prison and calls Mike within hours. Not because he missed him, because he needs him. Worm is charming, funny, and completely incapable of making a decision that doesn't cost someone else money. He cheats at cards. He runs up tabs in Mike's name. He lies about the size of his debts and who he owes them to. And Mike knows all of this. He's known it his whole life. He helps him anyway. That's not loyalty. That's a financial leak with a name. Every dollar Mike makes in the first half of that movie gets redirected toward Worm's problems. The games he wins cover Worm's debts. The credit he extends covers Worm's losses. The time he spends cleaning up Worm's messes builds nothing of his own. Worm doesn't take Mike's money directly, he just creates a current that pulls money his way, and Mike keeps swimming toward it. You have a worm. Maybe it's a person, a friend who always needs a loan that never comes back, a family member whose emergencies always become yours. Maybe it's not a person at all. Maybe it's 4 streaming services you barely open, a sports bet every weekend that feels like entertainment until you add up the year, a food delivery app that adds $15 in fees to every order. None of it feels like a problem in isolation. All of it runs whether you show up or not. Later tonight, when you're scrolling on your phone, open your bank app instead. Pull up your last 3 months of transactions, every recurring charge, every automatic payment, every subscription that hits on a date you stop noticing. Write them down. Total them up. That number is your worm. Not one dramatic loss, just a steady current of small obligations running every month. Cancel everything that isn't building towards something. Worm never waited, and neither should you. You found the leak, you cut it, but the most dangerous player at the table isn't the one taking your money through the door, it's the one who built the table.
Teddy KGB in the movie Rounders runs the most dangerous poker game in New York from a back room behind a Russian restaurant. He sits at the table in a tracksuit eating Oreo cookies and speaks in a thick Russian accent that sounds ridiculous. He's not the loudest person in the room, he's the most prepared. By the time Mike sits down across from him, Teddy KGB already knows exactly how Mike plays, his patterns, his tendencies, and his tells. Mike walks in thinking he's playing poker. He's actually being studied. That's consumer debt. That's the credit card company, the car loan, the buy now, pay later button at checkout. None of them are loud. None of them chase you down the street. They just sit across the table and wait. They know your patterns better than you do. They know you'll carry the balance another month. They know the minimum payment feels manageable. They know the interest compounds while you're not watching. They built the whole table. You just sat down at it. Mike's tell is that he gets confident when he has a strong hand. He doesn't know he's doing it. KGB does. And that tell costs Mike everything the first time they play. Your tell is your spending pattern. The credit card statement tells the story of exactly who you are and what you reach for when you're stressed, bored, celebrating, or avoiding something. 3 charges at a fast food restaurant at 11 at night tells a story. A subscription to a meditation app sitting next to a subscription to a betting app tells a story. A 0 balance every month that spikes in December and takes until April to recover tells a story. The companies on the other side of that statement have been reading it for years. They built their entire business model around it. They know when you're stressed, they know when you're celebrating, they know when you'll swipe without thinking. The question is whether you know it too.